Hi there everyone, it's Dorothy here from inkybutterfly.wordpress.com. Thank you very much for joining me today. We're going to make this card today, slightly different colourway though, so it's a bit more stepped up to the ones that I usually do. This concept of the sort of window design, I'm not really sure where it came from. I just woke up and thought I really want to be able to do this kind of layout, and this morning I kind of got up and went, how can I make this happen? So this is what I ended up with. The main focal image has been taken from this ornate style stamp set. This was one that was available early to customers and demonstrators before the launch of the 2020 catalogue, so it's in there as well. And then for the sentiment and the sort of window effect, I've got out Postage for You and this postage label punch. So that's what we're using. These two are available separately or as a bundle price, so that would make it you get 10% off when you buy a bundle. A bundle is a stamp set with a coordinating punch or die set. Okay, so those are the stamps and punches, and then where did the card go? Oh, there it is. And then the other thing I've brought in is my favourite stitched rectangles, so that gives that border just a little bit of interest as well for the layering. Okay, so this one I've used a very vanilla base, and these panels have been done in very vanilla and stamped with soft suede ink, so I was going for a more vintage kind of look. This one we're going to go back to black, white and grey, and maybe pop the colours on the colouring a little bit more. So let's see how it turns out. So I've had to do a bit of prep in advance, particularly with the how we're going to achieve the window effect on the front. Okay, so I had to work out how I was going to achieve this, and it kind of I bounced around the idea of, do I stamp it first and then try and punch it and line up my punch, or what? So I then thought, oh, maybe I should be using something that helps me position everything. So I got out the Stamparatus, and my 4 punch outs I've actually arranged on here and held them in place with a mini glue dot. So they do hold quite firmly because they need to if we're going to stamp on top of them, but it is evidently possible to get those to peel away from this backing sheet on here to then transfer them to the card. So that's how we're going to achieve that. So I've repositioned these exactly where they were. So as I took off these ones that are stamped, as I peeled them off, I replaced them with a fresh white one, so I knew exactly where it needed to go. And of course, with the design of the Stamparatus means that if I don't move this stamp on the plate, it will stamp back exactly where it was originally as well. So these are in white rather than vanilla, and we're going to use the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, water-based ink, because we are using Stampin blends to colour. If you're using a different medium, a water-based medium, to do your colouring, you will need to use a solvent-based ink like StazOn. So just inked up the stamp just off to the left there on that window. I'm just going to bring that across and give that a firm push all the way over, making sure I get that middle bit. Just firm pressure all over the stamp. Stand up if you think that would help. And there we go, we've got our image, which looks a little odd with the little gaps in between, and it's worked perfectly because there's a lovely X across the stamp where we haven't quite made contact with the bottom. Just going to get my chamois and wipe that stamp clean straight away, just like that. Stamp chamois is perfect for that. Just a little bit of water, not wringing wet, just damp. Gets your rubber stamps in particular brilliant clean. Okay, so I'm going to leave this in position on the stamp apparatus. So we're going to use the same colour markers, and oh, I did find as well it was helpful to have the full stamped image in front of me so that I could tell what things were on the edges of that image. Some of them were a little tricky to identify. Okay, so I started with the leaves, so we'll do exactly what we did. So I've got the mint macaron markers here. So Stampin' blend markers are now only available in combos, so you get a light and a dark marker. They have a bullet tip and a brush tip, so you can get fine detail, or you can do larger spaces quickly with the brush tip. Okay, so they work great just as plain old markers as well. You do not have to blend with them, you can just do flat colouring. So this stem isn't going to have any blending on at all, we're just getting that coloured in. If you wanted to colour this flat, it would look just as marvellous, but I'm just going to do just some very simple blending, and I'm adding the marker into the places where I think the shadows would sit. So if a leaf or a petal is overhanging, I'm just going around that edge and then along the veins. So on this one we're going to go around the petals first. I'm going to add some around where those veins are. Again, down here we'll go around these petals that are casting a shadow. Add a bit more here. So that bit's all in shadow really, so we'll just get that all in. Again, under here. So very simple. You can use the line art that's in the image that you've stamped to help you place those dark areas. That one's going to be quite dark because it's kind of buried underneath several leaves there. I discovered this bit is actually part of a leaf, so I'm just going to just chuck that in there. And again, this one's going to be quite dark really because most of it's under the edge of that flower there. Bit of stem there. It's quite a detailed image, so I did find that as I was going through adding other bits, I was like, oh, I've missed a bit somewhere. And then we're going to add, again, this bit is between a ton of petals, so I'm just going to go in with the dark around there and add that in around there. Okay, I'll just bring that up. Hopefully you can see there, mint macaron is a lovely colour, but it is really faint. Come on, camera, you can do it. Come on. We are just not close enough. Okay. So now we're going to go over those from the outside edge in and fill in the rest. So I used the bullet tip on my dark marker to get that where I needed it, and I'm just using my brush tip to help me fill in these spaces relatively quickly. So, I'm by no means an artist, and as long as you enjoy the process of colouring in, that's as complicated as it needs to be. There we go. Right, these two to me look like chrysanthemums. I'm not really a gardener, that's what I think they are. And to me they just scream they need to be yellow. So I'm going to bring it in. What did we use for these? Daffodil Delight. And again we're going to do the same thing. Oh, stiffly. So the centre is going to be dark where those petals are coming in the middle. We're going to add some to the little lines. See how not careful I'm being. It's just get that colour on there, and then in between where these petals crisscross between each other, where they would be casting some shadow on each other. I'm just basically just like a little V, isn't it? It's just a bit of colour into the crease of those petals. Just like that. Okay. I think I've got them all. Same with this one. So it does not have to be perfect, you're just given this illusion of shade and shadow. I think that's it. And then we're going to come back in with the light version. And while I'm here, I'm going to add some to the centres of these as well. These are beautiful pens to colour with. If you like, you know those colouring books that for mindfulness and just relaxation and stuff. These are great for those as well. You can really lose yourself concentrating on how you're going to colour an image in. Picking colours and that kind of thing. There we go. That looks nice. And just by colouring on white rather than the vanilla, it does give it a bit more punch to the colour. It doesn't wash out as much. These daisy light flowers look like gerberas to me. So what I think, because I think of gerberas as being white, so I'm just going to reach, I haven't got it out, so I'm just going to grab my light smoky slate marker. I'm just going to put a hint of something on those petals so they're not just, they don't look like they've been forgotten, if you know what I mean. And even white isn't white, you know. Nothing's pure white. Except maybe fresh snow, but you know. So it just gives them something. It's probably hard, you can tell on the video I think, but it just makes them look like they've not been forgotten, if you know what I mean. And then these smaller flowers, again, I've got no idea what they are. We're going to use Petal Pink. Nice soft sort of orangey pink this is really nice. So I'm being really skillful by just lobbing some stuff in the middle there. There's no real definition to these petals at all, so I'm just going to add the dark marker to the middle like that, and again just come in with a light one and add a bit around the edges. I'm not going to fuss too much about it. It's a very pale colour, it just takes the whiteness off the paper really. When it dries back, the colours look a little more intense as well, so they just look better. If you feel it needs more, then add more. So this one seems to have paled out a bit. And that one's sort of underneath everything, so we might need to just make that one a little darker. Okay, I think that's enough of that then. So you get the idea. Getting nice and close on that. So just a hint of colour on the gerberas and stuff. Okay, so up close it probably look a little bit on the splotchy side, but the overall effect when you look at it from a distance is really, really nice. Okay, so that's our colouring and stamping done for that. So like I say, these are quite firmly stuck down, but if you give them a bit of a twist and a pull, they do come off, because I've done it once. There we go. So they do take a little bit of a pull. I say, if you just sort of twist and slides, that one's actually left the glue dot behind. Don't worry if the glue dot follows you, it won't make any difference in the end. If you want to pull it off, then that's fine, do so, but it doesn't even matter if you pull up a little bit of the paper on the back, it's never going to show, so just don't worry about it, just get them off without tearing them, and then that's done. We don't need the that contraption anymore. What's it called? Stamparatus. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is die cut the stitch rectangle there, so we can get that into place. And I just wanted to share a little tip with you about cutting dies that have a straight edge. So a die cut machine uses rollers to apply pressure, so if that hard edge hits the roller, it's actually hard for it to go over. A bit like running over speed bumps in your car, and if you just go over at a little bit of an angle and get one tyre over and then the other, it's a lot easier. So if you actually position your cardstock and your die on a wonk on your plate, that leading edge is actually not so severe, so it will go through your die cut machine a lot more easily. So that's a top tip for you. So just going to quickly run that through. That's grey granite cardstock that we're cutting. Really nice earthy grey. The smoky slate is quite a blue grey, whereas this is more of a sort of brown tone to it, a warmer tone. So that's our grey cardstock. So we're going to need dimensionals on the back of our little postage stamp things. That was the other thing. You know, when you get certainly if in the UK, I don't know whether any other countries do it, when the post office releases a collection of stamps, you know, commemorating whatever, they're on like a sheet, aren't they, with the little perforations on. That's what that reminds me of. It's literally just come to me. So let's get all the backings off those so they're ready to go. And the other thing I'm going to do is do my wet glue trick, so that we've got just that few seconds of wriggle room. So just a little drop on each of those foam pads just gives you that moment of breathing time. while we get these stuck together. So let's move things out of the way. Oh, the other thing I did was I did roughly mark the centre of my my layer, and I've lost my ruler. It was here a second ago. What have we done with it? Don't know. Right, something else that's straight. It was here a minute ago. So on my grid paper there's a nice thick line that I'm not measuring it per se, I'm just eyeballing it on my grid paper and making sure it's straight. So it's about I'm making it ever so faint, you probably can barely see it, just because we don't want that to show on our project. It's roughly there. Sorry, concentrating, I've gone quiet. So I'm just making the faintest of marks just to give me a point of reference for the centre of that panel. And then hopefully this is the top corner. Yeah, okay. So, like I say, you can barely see that. Do whatever you need to help you position these as centrally as you want them to be. So don't worry about those glue dots on the back. They will, no one will ever know they are there. Like putting together a jigsaw puzzle, and you can use the little humpy bits and lumpy bits on there. Those here should line up. So once you've got the first two down and you're happy with those, the other two should be reasonably easy to put in place. I think that looks okay. It's possibly a little off to the left, but it'll do. And I'm going to get my trusty big block out and get that on there. Yeah, it is slightly off to the left, but you get the idea anyway. I'm just going to leave that you'll find there's a bit of, if you wiggle the block, it'll wiggle the images. So I'm just going to leave that there for a few seconds while we stamp our sentiment strip. And what I haven't got is a scrap of white cardstock, and it will be a scrap. This bit will do. Back to our Memento black ink pad. I've already got the sentiment lined up on a block. So light tapping, make sure that's inked up. I'm just going to, so if your card is straight and your block is straight and your stamp is straight, it should go down straight. There we go. So that's that. I'm just going to just make sure that's it does dry very quickly, but just to be sure. So I'm just going to cut this down using the trimmer. So I use the it's very hard to see on camera because it's all glary and clear and stuff, but there's a track and it's got all these little grooves in this lift bar thing, and it's really easy to line up the edge of your image to make sure you're not going to cut it and get the spacing equal either side. When you've got it in front of you in real life, you'll know exactly what I mean. Okay. So this is our sentiment. Okay. So that should be dry enough to do the next stage. So we're going to add this to our card base. This is just a Whisper White card base that we're going to add that to. Just going to use snail, still using it up. Don't forget we've got brand new product, Stampin seal. Haven't got any yet, it's on an order that's coming. And do you know what else? I've seen other people use it who've already ordered it, and it doesn't make that horrendous noise. So that should make the video a little less painful on your ears. So it does come out really loud on the video. So apologies for that, but the new product will be a lot easier for you to on your ears, a lot easier on your ears. And then this guy is going to go across here, and it just so happens to be the right width. I didn't measure that piece of cardstock, it was literally just a scrap I pulled out, so that looks like a perfect length. Right, some tape across that, get it straightish, so the edge of the die cut on the background will help you with that anyway. Just press that enough to... There we go. That's about that then. I'm not going to add any bling or anything, we'll just leave it as it is. So it was this technique I wanted to share. I'll say it just came to me, and I was just like, I really want to try and do something like that. So I hope you like that. Both colourways look nice, don't they? So the same markers, but using vanilla or white cardstock, just give the images just a different pop. I think this looks a little more vintage, whereas this looks a little more up to date and stuff, a little bit more modern. So up to you really. I've just had another thought. You could probably glaze these as well, and they'd look like little tiles. That'd be ace. That's another technique for another day. Okay, so really hope you like that. I think that's a really nice sentiment, sending your love your way as well. Okay, so just a quick reminder then. So ornate style is the stamp set. The Postage for You with the punch is a bundle. So at the moment, that joining offer, you can get a free bundle. This could be your free bundle. Okay, that offer ends at the end of June. You haven't got very long to take advantage of that offer if you want. There's loads of information about joining and the benefits of joining. If you go to my webpage, inkbutterfly.wordpress.com here, then there is a page on the menu that takes you to the frequently asked questions about that. So for me, I wanted quality products and I wanted a discount, so that was it. And then if you want to start running it as a business and do these videos and tutorials for people, you can, but you don't have to. You can just be a hobby demo and get the discount. I've just found my ruler. So yeah, do check it out. If you really don't want to join, don't know why you wouldn't, 'cause it's the best thing ever. You get loads for your joining fee of £99 with the extra bits and pieces. But if you just wanted to just have a look through the catalogue and do a big spend, we also have the rewards promotion as well, so you get an extra £20 worth of rewards on an order over £200. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say for today. Thanks for joining me for this little video, and hopefully you'll come back and see me again soon. Have a great day everybody, and yeah, have a great day. See you soon. Bye.